Doraemon. He's awesome. If you don't know about Doraemon, so get this. Nobita is a lazy teenage boy in Japan in the 1970s. Well, there's a new anime that's updated to the 21st century, but the manga was published for about the 70s. The anime became popular in the 80s, and Nobita's descendants realize that in order to ensure their existence, they're going to have to find some way to make sure that Nobita kind of gets his shit together and isn't such a lazy bum. As a result, they send back this android cat named Doraemon to ensure that Nobita is as productive and useful as they would like him to be for their future endeavors. Is Doraemon meant to be a cat? Here's the thing. Doraemon's ears were bitten off by rats at one point. Doraemon is lucky to have survived that incident, but he retains a uncharacteristic of a cat. I mean, he's a robot cat, but nevertheless, he's quite frightened of rodents as a result of that traumatic incident. So yeah, he is meant to be a cat. Note his whiskers and the little cute little collar there. Anyway, what's the point of this series? So is it about Doraemon encouraging Nobita to be productive and not lazy? It sounds like kind of an educational show. Is something what's the go there? Sort of moral guidance for young kids or something. Here's the thing: there's a genius comedy formula underneath all of this. Doraemon is a nasty, softly abusive gaslighter. Doraemon is lazy. All he does is sit around. All he seemingly wants to do is just eat dorayaki all day. Dorayaki is this like these little bean paste cakes. They're quite delicious, actually. I don't blame Doraemon for wanting to eat lots and lots of them, but he's a hypocrite. It's kind of actually geniusly maddening, this little cartoon show. Certainly the older episodes, which you can watch in streams on YouTube, random episodes of the older program and the newer program, which are still episodes airing from it. But what really draws me to Doraemon in particular is not actually the show. I was fascinated by the prospect of a series of feature films starring Doraemon, which were released throughout the 1980s, 90s, and to this day. What interested me in particular was a couple of these films later on in the 80s and 90s, one which was a kind of a send-off to the Gundam series, and another from the 90s, which is a send-off to one of my absolute favorite animes and just creative works of all time, Galaxy Express 999. And it's like, I gotta see Doraemon Express 999. I better check out all of the films. So we're gonna gradually go through all of the Doraemon films which I was able to access English subtitles for. And it also helps that we're going through 20th century dinosaur films anyway, and well, 1980. The first Doraemon film, Nobita's Dinosaur. One of Nobita's friends has uncovered this fossil, and Nobita's quite jealous, and he's saying, Doraemon, can you get me a fossil of a Tyrannosaurus Rex? And Doraemon saying, sorry, I can't do that, and Tyrannosaurus Rex was never in Japan anyway. Doraemon knows his history. He's very good. Nobita gets quite lucky. He manages to find a fossilized egg of what turns out to be a plesiosaur of some kind. And Doraemon ends up having to help Nobita travel back in time in order to ensure the dinosaur gets back to its, rightful home. Unfortunately, there's some nasty hunter individuals trying to poach the dinosaur. And then we have Nobita's friends also traveling back in time. And naturally, being in the Cretaceous period, there's a lot of nasty predators who, they don't exactly know what to make of Doraemon and Nobita, but they're willing to find out if they taste nice, Nobita's Dinosaur is just a tremendous anime film for anyone who wants to enjoy animated dinosaurs on screen, let alone some wacky, bizarre, wild adventure involving Doraemon and Nobita. And that was what was brilliant about these films, is having the leeway to explore all these different fantastical, wild, speculative scenarios with Doraemon and Nobita. And given how popular he was and how much money could be funneled into these features, knowing how much return they could receive from them, these are some of the more evocative and interesting anime films of their time, in my brief experience with watching these anime features pre-1990s. Feel free to comment if that's kind of a hubris opinion. I know the anime community is very kind of gatekeeping about all of this stuff. I've seen a number of anime films. I'm not as versed in programs personally. It's just not what I've been gravitating toward. But my experience of the Doraemon films has been extraordinary so far. Very, very lovable work. And appealing and endearing to many audiences. It's very easy to pop on one of these films for individuals who enjoy animation or science fiction or just something, cute and cuddly. Doraemon fits a lot of different circumstances and situations. He is, as I said before, Doraemon, he's awesome. Japanese soft power at work. Doraemon, Nobita's Dinosaur, terrific animated feature from 1980, running throughout July alongside the Jackie Chan retrospectives. We will be discussing the Doraemon films that I have been able to access English subtitles for of the 1980s. It shall be grand. I haven't even seen all of them. This will be fucking fantastic. Good stuff. So if you are so inclined, do be checking this channel for the latest updates. We will be eventually talking about the remainder of the Doraemon films from the 1980s. At a future date, we might explore the feature films beyond that. I do like a little bit of variety in my life. I feel a bit burnt out of just talking about Doraemon for a while. The Umberto Lenzi retrospective from a couple of months ago nearly killed me. If I hadn't discussed some of Umberto Lenzi's films, like at least 10 of them, prior to that, I think another 3, and I would have died at like 26. Like that would have been really tragic, So it's a good thing that didn't happen, I think. So we get to talk about Doraemon. What could be better?